Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Uh, let's go ahead. What is your current location of
My
yours?
current location, yeah.
Okay. So you are okay to relocate to Bangalore, right?
Yeah, yeah, no
Or
problem.
okay. So can you tell me your total number of years of experience and skill sets you have worked on?
I have around 7 years of experience, almost 7 years. So in this 7 years, I worked on mostly on Java and J2EE, like Spring Boot application we have created. So for backend, we are used some of the application Hibernate, and currently we are using Spring Data JPA. And apart from that, database side, we are currently using MySQL server. So these are the
Mhm.
current technology stack. For deployment purpose, we are using Apache Tomcat.
Okay. So you have written like Angular also you have worked on. Is it
Yes,
current project or?
yeah, Angular JS for version 1.3, I worked on around 2.5 years. So apart from that, Angular JS recently we have started Angular on Angular 10. Earlier
Okay.
in my previous company, I worked on the project where they used 4.25 Angular version.
Okay. Fine. So Java, which version of Java you have used?
Currently we are using 1.8. Earlier 1.67 I started.
Okay. 1.8.
Yeah.
So in 1.8, which all features you have used?
Yeah, in 1.8 optional we used for avoiding null point exception. Apart from that, streams for performing operation on our bulk data. Apart from that, we have functional interfaces, default and static methods in the interfaces. So
Okay.
yeah, these are the features.
Uh, yeah. So do you know what all changes have come in datetime API in Java 8?
Yeah, they have given some Joda datetime API. So
Okay.
local date is, I think it's available, but I didn't use that.
You didn't use. Okay. Fine. So have you created any functional interface?
No, I didn't create it, but it's very easy to create. Uh, Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I used predefined functional interfaces in my classes.
Okay. Okay. What all methods you have used in the Stream API?
Yeah, in Stream API, we have map method. Map method we use to perform, like suppose you want to add or multiply some element to our list, so we have to perform on each and every element, so we will use map. We want to filter kind of mechanism, so we can use filter. And these are the intermediate operation. After that, we have to perform some terminal operation to collect the data, so we have used collect.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so why do you think the default methods came into picture in Java 8? Earlier it was not there. So why did it came?
Actually, I think like if suppose due to functional programming, it supports only single method, so single abstract method. Apart from that, inside the functional interface, we can write multiple default and static methods. So I think that is one of the reason. Apart from that, second reason, I thought, if suppose we have already implemented some interfaces, and we want to, suppose many classes implemented that particular interface, but if we try to change that particular interface, so we need to change in all the implementation classes. So that's why they have given default method. So whichever class need, they can override, or they cannot override directly, they can call that particular default method. So I think that is.
Okay. Okay. So do you know why strings are immutable? Strings.
Yeah, strings are immutable because of string literals, like in double quotes. Suppose we are assigning some value to our string variable, then it will store into the string constant pool. So string constant pool have like a unique copy of that particular object. Suppose if we are trying to modify it, it will create a new object of string class. So I think that is the reason. Immutability is something like we cannot change its content again and again.
Okay, but why only string class? Other classes are not used. I understand string pool concept is there, but why did they have this string pool concept not for others, only for string, and they have made string only immutable? Why did they think about it when the developers started creating the APIs? Why did they think about all these pool concept?
I think immutability is for security purpose, we can also say. Like suppose we are converting our password. So if someone tries to change our password, as we have generated some hash code of that password, so if we try to change, then it will entirely different object. I think security purpose is also important for immutability. And apart from that, in what I observed in my programming, suppose we have keys in our hash map, so immutable class provides a better performance than mutable class.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So mm, in Java, what all thread safe collections you have used?
Thread safe collections, we have thread safe collection like vector. We have copy on array list, and apart from that, hash table we have, and new we have in a concurrent hash map, it will provide like lock on the segment only. Yeah, I think
Okay.
these are the
Okay.
thread safe.
So copy on array list. Can you explain a little bit more where it is used and why it is used, how it is used? Yeah.
Yeah, actually I have not used, but I know the concept. It's in multi-threaded environment we can use it. So there, suppose we try to modify, or while iterating it, if we try to modify that particular uh, collection, then it won't work on that particular same object. It will create clone of that object, and it will perform operation on that. So it's a fail safe in nature, we can say. It won't
Okay.
throw concurrent modification exception.
Okay. Okay. Have you used tree maps?
Tree, yeah.
Why are these used? Tree maps.
Tree map,
Yeah.
I think tree are sorted in order, like.
Okay.
So for sorting purpose, we should use tree related stuff like tree set, tree map.
Okay. Okay. So why do you think we override hasmap and equals method? What is the use of that? Why do you override that?
So hash code and equals method. Suppose we are performing some operation like in hasmap also. While putting, it will have some bucket in our hasmap. So it is calculate its heads code mod by the capacity, and it will suppose we have 0 to 15 indexes there, it will provide one index, so we will end up to that. Then what happens if suppose two different objects generate same hash code, so it will check whether the objects are same or not. So that's why we need to implement we need to override equals method. Suppose we have a custom class employee, so on the basis of id we define that the objects are same or not. If we are not override, then it will uses object class equals method. It will matches their references, so references always different. So in that case has performance becomes worst of hazmat. Hello, am I audible?
Sorry. Yeah, Rakesh, I was speaking on mute. So
Oh.
my another, yeah, one more thing is, suppose you are trying to catch a throwable instance in the catch block. You are writing catch throwable T and the catch block, whatever inside you want to write. So will it catch all the exceptions there?
So you have catch block, and you have written inside the catch block exception e or anything.
No, I have written throwable T.
You have written throwable t.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of exception E, I have written throwable T.
Okay.
What
So
will happen? Will JVM allow that, and will it catch all the exceptions?
actually throwable is a parent of exception. So parent can child can replace with the parent, I think. So it should work, I think.
It should work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the parent.
So what are errors?
Yeah, errors we cannot handle the errors. So suppose out of memory errors we are getting while space. Suppose our system has not sufficient space, so we cannot handle it.
So what is the parent class of errors? Error.
Yeah, I think throwable.
Yeah. So will it catch the errors also there?
No, in the program I don't think it, but it's
So it is also parent class. So if it catches the parent class exceptions also, will it catch errors also?
but I don't think in the program we will get error. We should get exception only, I think.
Errors can be generated in any scenario. Suppose there is a network error or something, anything, it can be generated.
So in that case, I think JVM should handle it. We need not to worry about what I studied here.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So in Spring, what is the AOP concept in Spring? Aspect oriented programming, and what is an advice?
So aspect oriented programming, suppose before or after execute some method we have to write some logic, like it's a cross-cutting concern, we can say. Advice is a class where we can declare our custom methods. So suppose in our controller class we have uh, at the rate controller advice. So there we can write logic for all the for exception handling logic for all the controller classes. So simultaneously it will so if we are using in the controller class, so it I think we have to write same code again and again each and every controller class. So for common logic we can write there.
Sorry, yeah. So there is some annotation in Spring at the rate qualifier. Why do we use that?
At the rate qualifier, yeah. So at the rate qualifier is used to identify the suppose if we have interface and we have multiple implementation of that interface, and suppose in the controller class we are calling like user service at the rate auto add at the rate auto add user service, and user have two or more implementation. So which implementation we are calling. So suppose if we are not providing qualifier, it will like in the it will show some exception there, conflict kind of thing. So we need to pass qualifier and pass the name of our bean, so that it will inject only one of them.
Okay. Okay. So have you worked in RESTful web service?
Yes, yes.
So what are the, suppose you are creating a new RESTful web service, what are the best practices you will follow, and what are the naming conventions for URL, for all these things? Do you know any idea on that? Have you used the best practices?
So how we are creating, I can tell you, sir. Like in the REST controller class, we have to like request mapping. Suppose we are writing API for user, so I will write API slash user. There suppose we have get method, so directly we can pass. We can also write at the rate request param for that at the by at the rate get mapping, and
Okay.
we have to return like our entity response there we have to like provide all the information. Suppose whatever our error code, or in the case of error, or whatever the success code in the case of success, along with data we can pass there.
Okay, fine. So, have you worked in enabling the security of a RESTful web service? How will you ensure? What are the mechanisms?
Yeah, we have used like to secure RESTful web services. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
Hello?
yeah, disconnect. Yeah, sorry. So to secure RESTful web services, we have used JDK and sorry, JWT, JSON Web Token. Like
Okay.
suppose first call we will have username and password. According to that, we filter that request, and we will have like handler there, and we call our backend logic and compare that username and password and what are its role. So according to that we are generating token on that. So we have some claims and like it has some three parts there in JSON Web Token. We are saving into that and passing into the header of our response. So it's a bearer token we are passing. Then what client will do, client will access that token, and again suppose if you want to try to call any internal API, so he should use that bearer token along with like authorization. uh,
Okay.
so
Okay, fine. So, you have used microservice, right?
yeah.
Do you have any idea on the core components of microservice? What are the components
Component.
used to,
Mhm.
yeah, components in the sense, what are the main components that are required to run a microservice? If you have created a microservice, but
Mhm.
what are the components are required? Core component.
Like suppose if you run a microservice, so deployment purpose you are asking, or suppose the like
Yeah,
discovery
yeah,
service,
yeah.
yeah.
Deployment like
Mhm.
discovery and API gateway. Do you
Yeah,
know about that?
yeah, Joule API gateway we have used,
Yeah.
and discovery services for registering our microservices. And apart from that, what we used to communicate each and every, means suppose dependent, we have dependent call from one microservices to another. We used a REST template for that. And
Mm-hmm.
suppose some error occurs, we have Kafka also there for publishing and subscription. So this was
Okay.
the mechanism over there.
Okay.
Mm,
Fine. So, do you suppose you are given uh, um, you want to configure Spring JPA. So, what are the configurations you will do from the beginning?
mhm.
You want to connect to a database.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So configuring, suppose if we are creating Spring Boot project, then we have to provide a dependency, starter dependency in our initializer project. So there we can provide Spring Spring starter JPA dependency in our form.xml. Then we have to configure our properties file. There we have to configure like our data driver name, username and password. And if we are using JPA, so we have to use Hibernate, HBM, DDL, something is there. So these are some properties, 4 to 5 lines. Yeah.
Fine. Uh, yeah. So, do you know what all design patterns are used in Spring or Spring Boot?
Spring Boot, a design pattern like singleton, factory, and we can say builder design pattern also there. These are mostly
Okay.
creational design pattern. But in the case of MVC, we have a MVC design pattern, and dispatcher service as a front controller. Joule API is gateway is also a front controller.
Okay. So, fine. What is your notice period?
It's like I'm serving notice period. It's
Okay, when will you
it's a
want? When
28,
can you join?
20 after
When?
after 1st of July.
1st of July. Okay, fine. No problem. Okay, I'm done with the interview. Thank you very much for joining. Whatever feedback is, the HR will be communicating to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's very
Yeah.
knowledgeable discussion for me. Thanks, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thank you very much.